Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of my tutorial series for Captain of Industry. I'm Icon and today's episode is dedicated towards upscaling and automation. So we're going to talk about ways how we can get a little bit less truck driving and a little bit more automatic transport into our whole factory to be here. Because right now, well, this looks more like a village with some industrial complex attached to it. We need to change that. So right now, the best example here is our pipe network here. It's pretty crappy, I admit. It's not really good organized or anything, but it does one thing way better than our trucks, and that's transporting things without the need of diesel. So all the stuff that's being produced here is being transported for free. And that's a big difference, and that's why we want that. In between the episodes, by the way, I have put up a fluid storage connected to the distiller, and here I store the diesel for the time being. I put that up front here so it's a little bit easier to approach. We're also going to talk about maximizing production in this episode a little bit more. So we're going to look at how many machines do you need to get the full production, and how to read these informations most importantly. So let's get started. So I'm going to turn on the time now, and right now our whole facility here is looking quite shiny. The only thing that's really bad for us is that we don't have enough construction part production, because that's pretty much bottlenecked by the iron plate production. And right now, well, we need more iron plates, quite obviously. So we want to start optimizing there, huh? So let's pause the game and have a look at the blast furnace. Can I combine these? Oh, sadly not. Well, the blast furnace here, as you see, produces molten iron. And what we're going to look at here now is the timer. So the molten iron takes 20 seconds to be produced. And when we look at the metal caster, the iron plates need 40 seconds to be produced. So here we see that this thing can easily produce enough molten iron to keep 2 metal casters busy. That means right now we're wasting 50% of our production, because every 20 seconds one of these dudes gets enough molten iron to be fired up, so he can easily facilitate 2 of these. So let's do this. We're pressing C here while having a cursor on top of the machine, and we're just going to place that down right here. I like to leave one blank spot in between, because otherwise your whole facilities will get crammed. So I'm hovering over the molten liquid stuff, and I'm just pressing C. And we're now going over to the second part and connecting these like that. And that's all we'll need. And let's turn on the time again. I have enough construction parts to realize this thing, and now without consuming more resources than before, well, we will consume more ore, but we'll produce twice as fast now, because before that wasn't even possible. The other thing we can do, of course, here is we can also think about increasing our iron ore production, because here at the mine control tower, as you see here, we could easily assign more excavators and more trucks. Right now, it is pretty clear that our excavator is not fully working here. He's always waiting for that truck, so we're just going to assign yet another truck. This is another way of increasing your throughput, because it's quite important to optimize these things. So let's keep an eye out on these things, and as you see here now, it's only half the production. We had a little drip. Well, it takes a while until these things are produced, but I think it's pretty obvious how things are working. And as you see here right now, our excavator is busy digging out stone. All these things here, you know, you don't get exactly only iron ore out of these, so sometimes your production can stop for a while. That's why I have these dumps here, because I find that pretty important, but we can take that one step further here. So let's optimize this one step further. We got the loose storage. So let's put that on here. And I want to aim that already. So go. Let's put that here. And as you see here now, our metal casters are now working properly. And now we got the loose storage. Let's designate that to iron ore. And now all the iron ore that will be produced over here at the mine will be transported in here for further use. What's even better, we're now going to use a conveyor. And we're going to connect these guys, but, well, looks like we need to use... Here, U-shape conveyor. That's the wrong one. The flat conveyor handles salt products, and the U-shape conveyor handles the loose ones. As you see here, this is also your sign whether or not something will work. You see the green ones versus the red ones, so use this. The user interface is pretty, has a really good ways of providing clarity for you here. So, we're going to get that constructed. This takes Tier 2 construction parts and rubber, but luckily we can provide these things by now. It's not that much of an issue anymore. Okay, and now we have a way higher production of these things. To top it off, we can now just use that unit storage that we got here. Whoop, there it is. And we can connect these then with more conveyor belts into this dude here. So we could go for something like that. I'm not sure. I want to leave a little bit more room here. But sadly, we don't have the advanced construction parts for that kind of deal right now. But we can produce them. So I turned that off again. I had that turned I turned it on again, sorry. I had that turned off because the problem with this machine here is it eats up construction parts, and therefore, since my production of construction parts right now is abysmal, I don't want to have this. And by the way, you are going to use these. I haven't tried out yet how to combine these guys. Should probably do that, shouldn't we? So, let's cancel these and try out if we can make things that easy here. We probably should be able to. Would be a shame if not. Okay, this will take a moment until these products are being produced. But the bigger advantage now is that all the iron ore that will be produced here in advance will be stockpiled here. So our blast furnace will have products to work in advance with. But the downside here is, you see here, there's also slack starting to pile up. So we could now make another... where's it at? Another loose storage here. There we go. And that's where we're going to store the slag at. Because this way, we don't risk a backup in our facility there. As you see here now, the iron plates are being transported there. Just like we wanted. And this is a waste of iron plates or a waste of conveyor belts that we avoided. So these guys here are getting that through here. So there's one important metric that you have to pay attention to here. A flat conveyor has a throughput of 1 unit per second. So the moment you produce more than 1 unit per second, this whole thing will be not able to keep up with your machines. So if we break it down here, so every 40 seconds we produce 8 units of iron. So that's a pretty simple thing. We can divide that with each other. So we provide 1 unit every 5 seconds. So 0.2 per second. 2 machines provide 0.4 per second. So that means, all in all, this belt could handle 5 metal casters before it will be clogged by that production. Neat, eh? Another neat thing is, we now have these iron plates automatically flowing into this place here without us needing to do anything about that. No car needs to drive, no diesel needs to be spent. Speaking about diesel, there is one issue here that I really need to pay attention to, and we have all the advanced parts we needed, so let's turn that assembly off yet again. Right now we don't need it. And there's another thing that I wanted to showcase here. Do we have enough? Sadly. Well, we can upgrade these into electric assemblies, but that at a time. For now, I want this thing here to run and produce construction parts. What we're going to do is we're going to use Unity now for the first time. I haven't used this before, but since we need these construction parts now really, really badly, I'm going to boost this. This halves the production time, so this is basically giving you a 100% efficiency boost on that. As you see here now, you have this also marked on the map. This drains 0.25 Unity per month, but right now it is well worth that investment. So let's head on over to the diesel front. As you see here, that fluid storage is not being filled as quickly as we want to. The basic distiller uses up 18 units of crude oil in 20 seconds to produce 8 units of diesel and the other shenanigans here. Okay, so we see here that one oil pump produces 6 crude oil per 20 seconds. And if you've paid attention, you might have already noticed that this is not good, because we actually need triple the amount. So we're going to copy those oil pumps now ASAP. We're just going to slam them down right next to each other. And we're going to pipe that up. And obviously the game doesn't want me to do it like that. And connect these like that. And once these are done, this distillery will produce triple the amount of diesel it did before. So, nice deal, isn't it? So as you see here, there's also the connector for coal. So if we had a storage unit that would store coal, we could just let it slip inside automatically. We're going to do these things more and more now because I want to have these trucks driving only for a couple of things and not too many of these. Actually, ideally, we could even consider putting up here at the mining facility a loose storage there, and we really should consider putting up the whole smelting business we got here and transport it over there. This way we could save a lot of diesel. There's a lot of things we can optimize and will optimize, but I wanted to let this tutorial flow freely and be full of those little mistakes that you do when you just blunder ahead, because I feel like that's when we learn the most. So right now we're entirely out of construction parts, but this machine is now providing. This has a lot to do with our steady supply of material here. Also, we produce a lot of slack here, and let's watch our little truck here drive. And you see, that slag gets transported further here into our concrete economy. There's, as you see here, also a lot of things we can now automate, but first off, we need to provide one thing, and that's the larger production of construction parts, because these are basically the backbone of our entire economy right now. No construction parts mean no further growth of our little city here, city factory, whatever. So our diesel production should be now growing more and more fine. We already have a second oil pump running here, but as you see here, the crude oil reserves are not endless, so you have limits. That's why I personally think that efficiency matters a lot in this game. Like, the less you use for stupid measures, the more you have for smart measures, but I think what's really, really important is that you maintain the fun with all these things. Okay, so when that thing is built up, we will have the maximum efficiency on that basic distiller. This means this baby here now has a constant, has now constantly enough crude oil to start the next production cycle when the last one is over. That's when a machine is at 100% workflow. That's the status that we want to reach with all of these machines in the end, ideally. But don't get caught up too much in that. Honestly, the most important thing is that you achieve like 80% efficiency. Everything else is optimizing if you really love it, and if you really hate it, don't get caught up in that too much. A very nice way of not calculating is just adding up machines until the machine keeps running. That's also a really nice way of doing it. If you don't want to calculate with all the seconds and the like, you can just keep adding machines until whenever the bar is full. When the next bar starts, you're done. You don't need more input. It's this would be a very unprecise way, but a non-mathematical way. Yeah, some people hate to calculate. So here we go. We got this done, and we could now do this same procedure for copper, but as you already might have noted, this whole complex here is sitting at the wrong spot. So I want to be smarter from here on and place down things in a way that it actually is efficient for us. So for the sake of the tutorial, I just built up things like I wanted to, because I didn't want to info bloat this video too much. So let's do a couple of things here. So whenever we want to transport stuff, just press T. This enables all these connectors, and then you can see what you need to see here. So all these machines, I didn't really pay any good attention to connecting them or building up in a way that it would make sense. As you see here, this exit here is totally on the wrong way. Sadly, the problem here is we can't put them up again, or we can't move them again. We need to demolish them and rebuild them. Right now, the game does give you a penalty for doing so, and I really hope they stop this at some point, because I feel like in games like these, it sucks when you get penalized for placing something down wrongly. There are technologies to increase the deconstruction efficiency here, but I'm not a big fan. I must say, coming from games like Factorio, the pressure of needing to place down something perfectly from the get-go sucks. My personal opinion, I just wanted to sprinkle it in. But if the game stays like that, you know, placement matters. You'll only get 75% of your placement back. And I think as soon as you have all the text down, you should be... I haven't calculated it if you're at 100% or 900%, but you get the idea. So right now, we can now decide to either leave this thing as it is, or deconstruct it and reconstruct it. But if I do so, I'll not stay at this place. I will move somewhere else, because, you know, we now know a lot more about our needs here. So we have here the quarry, and we now know that the inputs here are limestone, coal, slag, and well, rock to produce gravel with. And all in all, is that positioning okay for us? I think so. I think so. Well, I'll leave it like that until I scale this up, which I eventually will, because, you know, right now we have the same problem here. These things have all different timers, so let's have a look at that. Probably, yeah, we should probably. So the rotary kiln is the second in line. We're looking for concrete slabs, so yeah. Let's start with the crusher. Crusher is providing us with slag every 20 seconds. The rotary kiln is picking up limestone, so this guy is producing 2 cement in 40 seconds. This guy wants 2 cement in 40 seconds, and he wants 1 unit of this crushed stuff there, so good news, we don't need to do much here. This machine here produces this stuff here every 20 seconds, 8 of these. So if we divide that with each other, that's roughly, well, 0.25 per second or something like that. But It's not that important. What's really important to mention here is that 1 unit of that production here is necessary every 40 seconds, so if I'm not mistaken, this one thingy here could facilitate 16 of these if I have no knot in my brain right now, so we don't need to do much here. Sure, it would be nicer if we had an automatic transport between these, so let's see if we can make that happen. Not really. We would need to transport the cement out there like that, and you see, that's why it's really cool when you have the machines lined up like that. So, I'd say let's reconstruct that in a good fashion so that things can be put together orderly. How about that? So I want to get down closer to this area here, so we're closer to the limestone. This will be a little bit more efficient. And let's put on the layers so we're not going to collide with the oil field. Very important. But this place here is free, so let's use it. So we're starting out with the concrete. So we now know more about this. So we now know that exit-wise we want to be... Let's place it down like that. So we now need this bad boy next, because that's where we're going to place down the crushed goods. So let's do this somewhere like here. I want to leave open the entrance for the cement, and we now will drop this down here. And how about something like that? Yeah, like this. Okay. Okay. And this process needs water, so we're going to need another rainwater harvester here too. We know that, let's see, the water will be needed there, so let's put that down there. Okay. So this will keep our production a little bit busy for a moment, but this will be a massive upgrade in the long run. The problem there is it eats up construction parts yet again, and as we all know, we need more construction parts, and so on and so forth. I'm going to keep this facility. That's the plot twist. We're just going to double the production, because I noticed that right now I am constantly low at concrete slabs. So I think it'll be a nice idea to just keep that running, but you see, connecting these things is now a little bit of a pain, but we're going to be getting there. So we're going to connect these. And here we're not, you see there's nothing popping up. That's because we have the wrong belt. So these connectors only activate when you have the right type of transportation medium. I really like these things about the game. For an early access, this is extremely well optimized and doesn't make your life unnecessarily hard. So here we go. And the only thing we're lacking now is an exhaust over here. So let's do that. No. Smokestack, it was called. Exhaust is the gas. Here we go. Cool. And this facility now is, of course, still needing trucks to provide the materials. We can't get the limestone automatically in there, but we could actually start considering things like these. Semi-automatics, so to say. So we could add in a loose storage there. And, you know, let's do this actually. I really like the idea of that. So another loose storage there, and you already might know, loose storage goes with U-shaped connector. And here we go. So this will take a moment to finish. And we're going to have twice the amount of production right now. It's going to be quite awesome. But sadly, at the early stages of the game, I think that's just a necessary evil that you need to live with, that you are quite gimped in these things. So, as we see here now, our distiller is running decently. If you ever run into having too much Unity, if you have the 1 Unity per month, boosting this up into boosting this up together is a really high reward thing, because this way you can amp up your reserves there quite a lot. Okay, so I'm just waiting now for these things to be constructed, and then we're going to refine our parts here into advanced parts. But as you see here, it's totally clear. We have more than enough material to work with, but what has happened to our production here? I bet I know. So what has happened now here is our mining ops has depleted. They just haven't said anything about that because they're still happily mining rock, thinking that this is what we want. So here, no designations available. So we need to place down new mining designators here. And as you see here, these places here are now no longer mined. So we are going to do this now. And a mining operation needs to be constantly groomed, so to say. We're also going to make sure that this guy here, yeah, he has the right priority, but priority doesn't mean that he won't pick up the other stuff either. But keep your metrics here, keep an eye out on your metrics here. They will help you keeping your production in shape. And well, so that's pretty much the basics that we got there. So we're going to modernize our copper production at some point, and there's a lot of things that I want to do differently from this point on. So I can't exactly pinpoint where the next episode is going to be. I think I'm going to aim towards this whole copper department down there. But no, of course, farming, guys, farming. Next episode is going to be about farming, fertility, and all the more or less complicated things. The first layer of these complexities awaits. Okay, guys, so thanks for watching. Drop me your comments down below if you have any questions or any neat tips that I haven't come up with myself yet. Feel free to add them down there below, and leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing. There's daily content coming up there. I'd be super happy if you'd take a look. So have a good one, and see you soon. Bye bye.